As I sit here, they're attacking people around the world in this cyber operations. They're remotely controlling and firing frequencies at people to make them attracted. Like, say, a man, they're attracting them to be attracted to a child or whatever, and sitting there watching and doing all this shit. And these people are doing this and saying it's for SF-86 research. And they're sitting there laughing and making out and all that stuff. Know all their names and everything. So I'm wanting to go to DC to talk about this. They're using the DARPA programs to make 52 million off people putting doing the DARPA these programs is to chart their neurological pathways using a charting neurological pathways. They're remotely controlling everyone globally. That's what their ultimate goal is with the cyber operations. Military police told me to notify local law enforcement. Well, I can't notify local law enforcement and anything like that. I mean, they can sit there and manipulate your entire body. That's what military police said. I'm sitting in near South Carolina again. I left California. They're remotely controlled. They can remotely control the birds, the weather, and everything. Even ants and people. They can fire a frequency at your biometric field or whatever, and turn on the attraction button, make you attracted to whatever they want. Man, woman's out, or anything. And they're sitting there, people like David and what's his name, Tom, and their superintendent James. They're sitting on a facility somewhere, and they got confidential clearances, and they've been flown in from all over. They look at them with aerial platforms and this stuff, and they got access to secret component access information component. They can look it up on the computer instantly. There's over 68 of them in the room. They work in 3 shifts, then they sleep there. Some of them go to their dorms or quarters. They got people as high as a major sergeant and second lieutenants and colonels or whatever involved in this. And they're sitting there doing they're training them at the same time. They're doing exploitations with DARPA and all this damn products, charting the neurological pathways. They got to show viable evidence, viewable pliable pathways of the neurological system to control the human mind. They're testing out a product and they want to sell it to SOCOM ultimately to get them for them to get some money for this, for their school. They want $52 million off of me. And now they're going around doing this to everyone all around the globe. And some places they're sitting there saying, if you say one word about this, and then that's all I know. I mean, they sit there and interfere, and they can fire frequencies at you to make you stutter and not talk and stuff. You can see videos of me in like Facebook where I never really stuttered or anything like that. So when they're sitting there trying to cause me to stutter and all this, and I've already posted all these videos all over the internet where I'm talking plain and clear. I ain't got no problems talking. I mean, they can sit there and do that. I'm gonna take a chance. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I gotta leave Neary. They got these aerial platforms all over my neighborhood. The aerial platforms, people in South Saudi Sudan was shooting them down with AK-47s, and they're sitting there making remote cyber operating alligators and all these animals and stuff to eat people. And through like 35P military occupation specialty, 17C cyber operations and electronic warfare. And I call military police. They remotely control FBI and all that stuff. You turn on the TV, you see a plausible way that it's possible. But when you turn it off, something happens to your reality. Your reality starts to exist in that damn TV if you don't quit staring at it for long enough. If you get out here and see it for real, it's a whole different ball game. I can walk outside, and I've got videos and stuff showing all this. Well, the California protesting system is corrupt. I found out how. They want to. Trump wants to target the legal system. No, it's not the legal system. It's the programs that's not been brought to his attention. Edward Snowden, the FISA abuses and all that stuff, being signed off on people. When the military conducts their little tests and secret clearances or whatever, they use secret clearances. Department of Defense said they made bad contracting decisions on people and with their security clearances. They made bad contract decisions. And they've deployed aerial platforms that's undetectable BEA stealth radar avoidance technology, and these things simulate like stars that hang in the air, probably about 3,000 feet over my neighborhood right now. Well, they can fly them over anything, anyone from people to plants, animals, anything underneath them can be manipulated, including the light. They call it electro glow, or it's static electromagnetic energy that changes the illumination visibility on the ground just before your eyes with no light present. They're sitting there going around doing directed energies with 17C cyber operations cyber operations officers and 17C cyber / EW, where they got people with AK-47 firing at them all over the world. Everywhere I go, they lock in on my bioresonant frequency. They say that I'm worth $52 million. Like, they've been doing all kinds of things to people called TIs. TIs nationwide. Targeted individuals, electronic harassment. They sitting there. We had a global protest, and they went around disrupting it. Steven, Daniel, and all of them have been sitting there deploying these aerial platforms over to destroy and disrupt a peaceful protest. State of Chicago is completely under remote control, PSYOP, or whatever you want to call it. They call the persona spectrum or whatever. I've looked up in public information, and now they're saying that I know too much. Well, no, it's public information. It's transparency with the government. They showed up over my neighborhood doing this to everybody. I got up out of my chair, and for 2 years now, been trying to do things. I've called Homeland. I've called FBI. FBI said several agents I've talked to. One tracked a phone call straight to Florida, northwest of Naples, 239-449-0577. They called that number and traced it to Naples, Florida. And they're sitting there doing this stuff to people in South Sudan. They flew aerial platforms over Antarctica. They're sitting there and checking everything out that I may have looked at on YouTube. They can hack people's neurological system and manipulate the human nervous system through electromagnetic signals. The stuff they stole from the Germans. They're testing DARPA products as experimental aerial platforms. They can fly them over military bases and make them look like stars. And they using DARPA technology to make a electromagnetic field to protect them from being hacked, or some kind of DARPA products, some kind of defense. And they've done this to NSA, they've done this to FBI, they've done this to everyone. FBI, they fly this stuff over to FBI, disrupt the signals, and then hack in, do the human intelligence collector, 31 mic human intelligence collector, which collects actual EEGK, remote neural monitoring. It's called remote neural satellite terrorism, is what they're officially called by the Department of Justice. They're called terror cells, and they're going around globally doing this stuff to people. And these girls on campus are actually dating these guys because they don't get to go out much. And they're actually, the teachers and all them sitting there watching this, and they're sitting there threatening the students that's having a problem with it. They're like, well, do you want to join them? Sitting there watching them do all these horrible things to people. Sexual assault by gravitic weapons, or magnetosphere bubbles is what they call them. Electromagnetic fields, and they got someone coding the signal to keep anything from tracking it. And I've notified each and every single command or whatever, but what I didn't count on was an insider doing this. They used non-conventional. I responded with conventional. At first, I contacted the local authorities and stuff, like the government says. If you see suspicious crime or activity, report this to the appropriate authorities. Well, I kept reporting it, and then they wouldn't do nothing, so I went a little higher, and then, okay, well, then I started learning the whole entire structure. And then I started contacting committees that regulate all these platforms all the way down to government structure. I wasn't really expecting these little area platforms to remotely control government officials, but they do. They fire the frequencies at them and make them dumb. They can let go of them, but they're hooking everyone up to this human on a chip thing. That and training. Cyber operations. Cyber operations capability, they can sit there and hack anything. People, plants, animals. They see us naked walking around in the United States all the time. They look inside our homes. They're picking on people in Africa right now because they don't have no defense. And they supposedly deployed aerial platforms over Russia. They're supposed to be undetectable. They deployed them over Russia. They deployed them just about everywhere it's got a treaty deal, and some it's not. Command told them to stand down. What the hell's going on? I don't know if it's JSOC 1 through 4. But I know they talked about Central Command. They ultimately report to Command and Control. One joint operations, Army, cyber operations, and one joint multi-military, which is Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, National Guard. Well, they're using DARPA products, this team that's going around doing all this. All these bases ain't got this. So they're taking them over with all this stuff. So that's why no one ain't defending us. They supposedly done this to some soldiers at military Marine Corps. They're saying some are resisting. Well, my purpose of my trip to Washington, D.C. is I got some papers that needs to go to the Pentagon because they're intercepting my messages. they're firing these frequencies and doing this stuff to intercept my messages. So they're not getting there. They're killing my phone calls. And they're killing all this stuff. Every time I try to call presidential correspondence, they're killing my phone call, and they're using a military occupation specialty communication specialist and person in intelligence, signal intelligence, and all these little tiers that they brought into this team. People from, say, private, recruit. There's recruit girls, whatever, it's in here. It's from 16, the summer deployment programs and the military, and they're in these clearances and in honor. They was in honors classes and everything in school and high school, whatever. And apparently they got to go back. Some of them still got to go to university. Some of them attend Clemson. Tanya supposedly lives in Malibu, Florida, and we're posing this all across the globe, and they're sitting there. They can turn your fire frequencies or whatever, like your left ears to start ringing, tendinitis. This is the supposedly what they call. I seen in a blog about a secret mind control program that leaked out in a FOIA request. It shows the full controls and everything. This is going on globally. They killed United Nations soldiers. They supposedly made their head explode for the directed energy. And they also have done some things. They remotely control some people in the White House. This team is out of control. So I'm taking a risk to go into Washington. They're trying to discredit me, and they're trying to do all these things, and like saying I've been repeating the same thing ever since I got back from California. Now they're trying to get some things going with some ordeals that shouldn't be going on. They fired and frequencies and called a riot. A dude named Todd, a guy named Paul he hinders the FBI investigations. Like if I call FBI for them hacking into my card and killing it at the bank, they'll say Paul will fix it. So he sits there and hinders FBI investigations, and they use this technology to do it. And they also, Lisa is on the national security thing. They remote controlled their way in using this mind control technology. And they're readmitting treaty deals with this technology as well. Trump is firing at the legal system. It's not the legal system. It's this team. Presidential correspondents told me to report this stuff directly to the president. Pentagon said per our conversation. I can't say anything else. I've called and notified everybody that should be, but they're deploying this technology, and command said that they report to. If anyone finds out, they're going underground. So underground they need to go. They talk like they're reporting to Central. They're sitting there lying to all these new students they're bringing in. They're doing this test on us. Someone's paying the check. And they're going around doing this to people all over the globe. Electronic harassment and targeted individuals. They call it targeted individuals, but really it's DARPA experiments, involuntary human experimentations by military weapons. Fed the symptoms of what was going on with the populations and everything, about the crime rates, about everybody's behavior, and gave the symptoms to military police. They said, sir, you have to let local law enforcement know. But I can't, because every time I get around them, they fire these frequencies at them, and they can actually remotely control them, make them pull up and pick me up and escort me somewhere. They remotely control people at my church. I can look at them and tell they ain't the same people. I travel across the United States doing all this. They've got me on loudspeaker where everybody can hear me. Like in the moment I say it, thanks to technology, my combat book that I got from the military when I took my training, it says thanks to technology, the enemy can hear exactly what you say in the moment you say it. Now, in the moment you think it, thanks to Human Intelligence Collector 31 Mike, Fort Hakachula. That's where they send them for training. And then they got deployments coming off Herbert Air Force Base, where they're deploying air from there. I called Tom Davis at SOCOM, and Alan Miller was an Inspector General at SOCOM Air Force Base. They've replaced them so many times to get away with these crimes. I was supposed to notify the appropriate authority. I notified the appropriate command as well. I wasn't expecting them to use these aerial platforms to go over and test them on our bases, but they did. They can remote control soldiers now. They have a little switch and all this stuff set up to where they can remote control turn them on, to where they become alert and they start fighting back. So the official story for everybody to talk about that don't know the details, all you can say is these government programs and using FISA warrants, they reduce populations of people. If you walk around and see someone that's homeless, they're not homeless. They're in these little programs you ain't never heard of or we're never going to believe. They make them look that way, so that way when they report to their commands and those that's over them, they can do whatever they want to with them. Because who cares about a homeless man? What do they say about them? Nothing but bad things, right? Bum, hobo, dirty looking, you know. They got all kinds of things, crazy. You know, they call them all kinds of things. Discredit them. And then people that's being chased by law enforcement, they're doing that as well. They affect our crime rate directly. As well as make people get hit by cars. Cyber operations, military. Make them walk right out in front of a car. Or make a car just keep going, or driver's not paying attention or something. Or, you know, you go out in your yard, try to crank up a lawnmower or something. Electromagnetic manipulations. There's nothing wrong with the equipment. You sit there and crank and crank and crank until your mind is turned and redirected and thought in a certain way. Then you pull that cord, it'll crank right up. No adjustments made. They can also make the grass grow like 4 inches within 15 minutes after you cut it. My left ear is ringing right now. You can look up on the mind control program that is leaked out in the FOIA request. I've got documentations that's from NSA. But some things, as far as some mail I got, I can't really talk about. But what I can talk about is what I got from public information. To all you targeted individuals across the nation, they've used this technology to remote control people around me from getting employment. I get up, I've applied for jobs. There's nothing holding me back from it. They remote control people around me. I walk up to someone with a help sign, no one there. I need help. I'll come in 3 weeks. They said within 2 days we should know something by Friday. 2 weeks later, nothing. They said, we're having a problem with the email account. Okay. At Clemson University, Airmark, some simple job like that, they deal with emails all the time. So, why is there a problem with emails? If they deal with them all the time. I'm going to record when I walk in tomorrow.